visuals and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Superhero Wednesday, the day of the week where we get damn right down and nerdy and just talk dirty. I'm gonna put my dick in. Really, we like to just get down and nerdy and just talk anything that's weird and wonderful in this beautiful nerdy world of ours, because being a nerd is quite literally the best. I think out of everybody in the entire world, we have the most fun. They say blonde girls have the most fun. Nah. Fat, horrible, nerdy, minging bastards like me have the most fun. Visuals, we're here to do another rank list. This time we're going to do for every single Spider-Man film, or every single Spider-Man film from the 2001. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, all the way to Across the Spider-Verse, because it's been a huge topic of conversation all over loads of my different social medias, because I'm on the gram, I'm on the Facebook and whatnot, I'm on the YouTubes. I occasionally browse TikTok, but that's mostly football stuff. A lot of people talking and speculating, ranking the best films. Is Across the Spider-Verse the best film of all time, best Spider-Man of all time? And in some film spots, it's actually ranked the highest film of all time. It's beaten like Goodfellas and Lord of the Rings and all that kind of stuff, which is hard to argue, but I am a biased bastard that loves me some Spider. But I don't know, we're just here to talk about the best Spider-Man film of all time. That's a conversation for a different time. So visuals, as I list away and rank away, that could have been rank away. I did say rank, didn't I? I didn't say the other word I thought I said. My OnlyFans. Go check out my OnlyFans. It's completely free. But visuals, as I rank away my favourite Spider-Man films of all time, please let me know in the comments below your order, your favourites, your favourite Spiders, your favourite villains from these films, your favourite whatever, your favourite things from these films. Does not matter. Just let us know in the comments below. Let's get the Spider conversation going. But visuals, here we go. Here is, because there's 10 films as well that we're going to rank. Here's my number 10th favourite Spider-Man film. 10 I'm going to have to give to Spider-Man 3. Yes, and as well, before we get going, I genuinely really, at the bare minimum, really love all of these films. And I mean it, from even when the Andrew Garfield stuff come out and whatnot, loads of people, you know, hating and whatnot, but we'll get to them when we get to them. But every single one that come out, I really enjoyed. Again, I'm huge bias and I'm easily pleased, I guess. Spider-Man swinging around the big screen, I'll be like, yeah, it's great. But anyway, I need to rank them, so just because this is number 10 doesn't mean I think it's awful. But I'm still going to have to put it at number 10. I think moments of this film definitely did fall a little bit flat. And I know the whole story about, you know, they just forced Venom in there. They just randomly chucked Venom in there. But I thought as a way to, well, and now it is, the way to end off a trilogy was quite fun. I enjoyed Sandman in this. I enjoyed, what's his fucking face? Harry Osborn, James Franco. I enjoyed him in this, especially the start fight between him and Peter and whatnot. You know, the whole ring and everything like that. When he thinks back to Friends and he comes back being arsed, we house at the end and he dies and whatnot. There were a few hard and heavy emotional bits in this. I enjoyed Eddie Brock's performance. I love some of the visuals in this, like Spider-Man with Peter Parker ripping the symbiote off of him in the church, and then got top and the church bell moments and whatnot, and it coming off his face. There were loads of moments in this that I thought were really good, but there were definitely parts where I was like, this is a bit flat here, and it's definitely not as good as the second one or even the first one of this trilogy and stuff. But it was still cool to see Venom. I like the moment we get the poles down, and going around and shit like that. I even like how Venom come down and get to the back of Peter Parker's moped, and we go from that. We get the very aggressive moments, and we get the corny moments there, and all that, which will be a massive meme forever. But Spider-Man 3 is my 10th. 9 is The Amazing Spider-Man 1. Again, I really enjoyed The Amazing Spider-Man, and it did also have a lot of awesome visuals. The moments, I've got the poster in my landing where, you know, he's in the corner and the brick wall and whatnot, the shade, but the spider silhouette and stuff like that. The moments where Peter Parker's finally becoming Spider-Man, like I love the sequence on the underground the tube or whatever the fuck it's called. The moments where he's first you know, working out the outfit and all that, put it together, and then he starts going out fighting crime. He's trying to find that guy with the tattoo and stuff, and he's like, you know, can no one get the concept of the suit and all, or the concept of the mask and whatnot? And he's the way that he acted more buggy and stuff, like when we go down the sewers and he's ringing on the bits of web and whatnot, and he's going down. And I enjoyed Lizard in this. I think the Lizard's a great villain, an iconic Spider-Man villain. Dr. Connors was really cool in this, being an Oscorp and whatnot. Emma Stone's Gwen Stacy, absolutely terrific. She nailed that role. The way that their relationship further blossomed throughout this film and the second film. Of course, we don't know what would happen if we did get the third film and stuff. That could she was dead anyway, but we don't know how it would have, her story would have still impacted the third film. But I thought Andrew Garfield did a great job, and I thought, okay, what a cool, awesome way to introduce a new Spider-Man franchise, or a new Spider-Man story going forward. Like, everybody went nuts when he come back. I remember everybody went absolutely sick when he come back, because I think at the time he was very hated by a lot of people, but then they've come to love it and appreciate it. And especially at the ending moments of this, where Captain Stacy, he's about to die and whatnot. Everyone's slowly turning into lizards. The way the whole film culminates and stuff. I had so much fun with it. It is Spider-Man, just straight up Spider-Man. The one that kind of kicked all of these off anyway, you know, when Marvel sort of the rights to Spider-Man to Sony and stuff like that. This was a really cool moment-defining comic book film for all comic book films, because at the time you had like the early X-Men, Blades and whatnot, but this felt really comic booky. It was, you know, slightly campy and whatnot, and the color schemes and you know, how they made it all look visually, but it was so much fun. I love the Green Goblin in this. I love watching Norman Osborn slowly go down the route of being slowly mental and being tortured by the Green Goblin within inside and stuff like that. Even their final moments at the end, and how it's his own glider, it impacts him. The moments where he goes into the house fire and Green Goblin's in there and stuff. I thought all of this worked so well, and what an awesome way to be like, okay, we're going to do this Spider-Man story on the big screen. We're going to go for it. Let's see where this ends up. I thought Tobey Maguire was great. A lot of people again criticise, saying he doesn't look and feel the role of Peter Parker. I personally thought it. I personally not thought that. I thought he did a great job as Peter Parker. I thought the design and the look for the costume and the outfit was awesome. The little moments when in the museum he first gets bit and all that, and how he shows that he wakes up and like he's trying to get the fucking lamp and stuff, like, sorry, he gets his drink and he's like glasses on, he's muscly, he chases after the bus and that. I thought all of it was awesome, and I really enjoyed the starting film of the Amazing Spider-Man, sorry, not the Amazing Spider-Man, the Spider-Man trilogy. Spider-Man 2 was our number 7 pick, and I think the biggest thing for me in this was the relationship between Doc Ock in this and Spider-Man. I think Doc Ock I wouldn't necessarily carries this film, but he is amazing in this film. The way Doc Ock's done in this is absolutely awesome. And I love how every time that these two had a fight, especially towards the end where, he sacrificed himself and whatnot, was awesome. And I absolutely adore single moments again in this film, like the train moment, the people carrying, he's no younger than my son and all this stuff. I thought this was peak Tobey Maguire as his Spider-Man. I thought he nailed it on all fronts. I thought this was peak villains in comic book films at the time. Doc Ock was just a stand, like, wow, that is a performance to behold. The relationship again between Peter Parker and Doc Ock and stuff like that, and how it all started and where it all ended up, amazing. The Gwen Stacy, the MJ stuff and whatnot going on in between the middle of all this, the Harry Osborn stuff. The story was phenomenal. Amazing Spider-Man 2. Sorry, keep doing that. Spider-Man 2, awesome. 6, we're going to give to The Amazing Spider-Man. Now, one of the biggest things for me is, right, I left the cinema with my pal who watched this, and he went, that was annoying. I didn't really like that. It felt more like a Peter Parker story than it did an amazing, like a Spider-Man story. And I was like, what's wrong with that? Me being me, thinking, oh, easier, just, just a popcorn goer, he just wants to eat some popcorn and watch a fun film. But me being the comic book reader, and I'm in love with Peter Parker as much as I am Spider-Man, I adored that. But the biggest thing for me in this film was the visuals. I loved the when Electro's chucking his or going for the electricity at Spider-Man, and he's going through, and it's the way that blue looks, it'll speed up a bit and it'll slow down. I just thought it looked phenomenal. I genuinely as well really enjoyed Michael Fox's Electro in this. I thought Electro was so much fun. The way that he looked, it was silly and goofy, yes, but the way that he used this particular version of himself and this villain, the way that he used, like, different bits of electric and going through here and going through there and whatnot, I thought it all worked so well, especially towards the start of the film in is it not Times Square, wherever they are in New York City, and the stand up with the police and whatnot, and you can feel the electricity around him, and you get that, I get the Spider-Man. I thought that was so dope and amazing, and it just looked cool. But I love the end of this, the gut-wrenching moment. Us as long-term Spider-Man fans know the death of Gwen Stacy and all that, but when it actually happened on the big screen, the different cogs and whatnot getting hit, and the web coming through, and the web trying to slowly come, Oh, it's so heartbreaking and gut-wrenching. Then we get the moments where he's stood by her grave, by her gravestone, and the seasons are changing and whatnot. But then eventually he comes back because that little kid's ready to step up as Rhino, try and become Spider-Man. It's like, oh, cheers for stepping in and whatnot. And he gets back in. I remember being in tears and thinking, oh, this is just awesome. This is doing it for me. And I think it's just really, really, really such an amazing film. Still, it's Spider-Man Homecoming, the first edition, well, not the first time seen it, we saw him in Civil War, but the first edition of a Spider-Man film inside of the MCU. And the biggest thing that I can take away from all of the Spider-Man stuff in the MCU is Tom Holland, for me, is the best Peter Parker Spider-Man. He is tremendous on every level. I love him so much because he does justice to a character that means so much to me, and I just think he does it amazingly. And the fact that it's called Homecoming, I like that. He's coming back home. Yes, there's still the Sony stuff, whatnot attached to all that. But he was coming back home to Marvel and all that kind of thing. But the story itself in this one was, again, phenomenal. He was truly the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and he was having to get mentored by Iron Man, but Iron Man's not really there, but he is at that one moment when he comes out of the suit and whatnot. But it was the moment that really kills me in this film is... there's loads of the fairy moment and whatnot, all amazing and beautiful, but the moment that kills me is where the Vulture first beats him and he's looking down at the pond. He's like, come on, you're Spider-Man, you can do this. And oh my god, it broke me the first time I watched it. I was like, you are Spider-Man, come on, you can get this, you can do it. And it just killed us. And then the horrible gut-wrenching moment when he's the back of the Vulture's car, Michael Keaton, and he's looking at the window and he's like, it's like a figure out of like, okay, shit, you know who I am and I now know who you are, and oh my god, what the fuck is going on? This is, oh shit. And it's so fucking badass. And then eventually the fight at the end's amazing, and the way it goes down, having Happy and stuff in this, so many fun moments. Peter having to go back to the old suit because Tony takes his suit off him and all that. Such a great film, such an amazing introduction to a new Spider-Man world, a new Spider-Man, now as it sounds, a trilogy. Tom Holland, amazing. Inside of the MCU, amazing. Yes, Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man, helps support the film and whatnot. Oh, but it's so good. Some of the list, we've got Spider-Man Far From Home. I keep repeating myself, but again, I really enjoyed it. I love Jake Gyllenhaal's performance as Mysterio in this. I love Nick Fury. Yes, Skrull shenanigans going on this. But the biggest things that I love in this, one of the best visuals I've ever seen, is the when Mysterio first fucks with Spider-Man and he puts a gas in and he's up against loads of different Spider-Men. A zombie Iron Man comes out the ground. He's in is it Queens, whatever the big hotel thing flashes up. The visuals in them moments are so amazing. They are so spectacular. It just looks amazing, and the way that his spider sense is a bit, playing up a little bit, and when at the end when he's against the drones and he has to get to one end of that tunnel to the other, and he goes through and he smashes them all up. When he makes his little makeshift boomstick and gets inside of all the hologram and stuff, them hologram and holograph moments were so outstanding. I couldn't help being in absolute awe of them. And every time we got one, I was just like, oh, I'm so ready for this. I'm so ready for this. And I love at the start when you think, okay, they've saved the day. Maybe Mysterio is a good guy. Because it did nearly get me. It nearly got me. It's like, oh, maybe he's helping out. Peter leaves, and then Mysterio's or Jake Gyllenhaal's like, ta-da. And he's like, oh, the whole thing was to get Edith and be a little arsehole, a little fucking prick, and just take the thing. He can do what he wants and stuff. Oh, it was such a good, fun, amazing film. When we first see like Hydro Man and Molten Man and stuff, I'm doing them because we know there were hieroglyphs, because we know there were the holograms. But I thought they looked amazing. Fighting in Venice just looked so cool. All of it was so badass. We're going to carry on with this trilogy, and we're going to end this Tom Holland section with Spider-Man No Way Home. What do I need to say about this film? All the things we love from the other films come back into this one film. We get to explore, in some degree, a multiversal shenanigans. We get to see Doctor Strange shenanigans. We get to see multiple Spider-Man shenanigans, especially towards the end on the Statue of Liberty, and the way that they're all, oh, it's one of the best scenes ever. They're all using each other's webs because they're not working as a cohesive team, sorry. But then eventually they are chucking each other with their own webs and they land. It just looks so amazing. Having these classic villains come back, Electro, Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Sandman, Lizard, all these people rocking back up, and then at the very end having a big fight. Green Goblin turning from on the inside, thinking you're on the team, but then he has his moments. He comes back out and destroys everything. Him being the big ultimate bad at the end, I guess, really. Doc Ock staying on the right side because Peter's able to control his tentacles with nanotech. The interaction they have on the bridge, I love that moment on the highway, motorway, whatever it's called in America, and it all first starts kicking off. It's like, okay, and then he comes through and they have this big battle. Next thing you know, the Green Goblin, you're like, oh my god, what is going on? The confusion that the villains play about how I just beaten Spider-Man, and next thing you know, wait a sec, hang on, did I beat... but what? And how Doctor Strange has been so harsh and saying, listen, Pete, you need to send them back whether they die or not. They've got to... Peter's trying to do the good thing because he's always trying to do the good thing. He's the ultimate good guy. Going into the whole mirror dimension and stuff, and the fight that Peter and Doctor Strange have, and the way that he use geometry, the maths to tie it all together, and symmetry, and Doctor Strange like, and it's so fucking cool. And at the end, having my heart absolutely ripped clean out, having to sacrifice everything to save everyone. You know, everyone just forget who I am. And then here lies May Parker. She's not even an aunt because no one knew that she was an auntie, because no one remembers Peter Parker having to look at Happy Hogan and be like, oh, you know, I just knew her through Spider-Man and stuff. And at the very end, seeing MJ and just not saying anything and letting hit her and Ned get on with their lives, and then we get this new suit that he's made gliding on the snow and whatnot, and we get that land, and I'm like, oh, this is just utter perfection. So yeah, number 3 on the list is A No Way Home. Where it gets real tricky visuals. This is where it gets so fucking difficult. We know where we're at now. We know we've got the Spider-Verse related stuff as 1 and 2, but who's going to land where? And I'm going to have to give number 2 to Across the Spider-Verse. Only just Across the Spider-Verse was an unbelievably spectacular masterpiece. Again, I know I'm biased. I'm Spider-Dan. Well, I wish I was Spider-Dan. I know the spider stuff is all what I love, but this film was really phenomenal. This film was so spectacular. The gut-wrenching heart moments of Gwen's introduction and the loneliness she portrayed, and Miguel O'Hara doing whatever he could to feel like he had to do to save the spider, or the multiverse and stuff. The little Easter eggs and callbacks, you know, referencing Tom Holland and Doctor Strange and whatnot. The introduction of Miles Morales' Prowler in Earth 42, because there was no spider to bite this Miles, so they don't have a spider, and his dad's dead, and it's the face-off at the end. The team that Gwen assembles at the end. The fun little Easter eggs we got inside of Nueva York, all the different spiders that Spider-Man 29 is obviously recruited as part of the team and whatnot. The Lego spider, all of this was just... oh, it was the pinnacle of Spiders telling story. It's Miles telling Miguel, you know, I'm going to do my own thing, after Miguel slams him down, a very personal slam. You're not supposed to be Spider-Man, you're not, blah, blah, blah. And then Miles like, nah, fuck off, mate. And he does it, and he beats all the spiders that are there and whatnot. Oh, the film was just utter perfection. And that's why it was so hard to make it number 2, but it is number 2. But everything about it, go check out my reviews and whatnot, visuals, because I'll go more in depth in it. But Across the Spider-Verse, number 2, which means... Into Spider-Verse, not only my favourite film of all time, but my favourite Spider-Man film of all time. This was so amazing. Just like the second one as well, I didn't mention it in the last clip, but I should have done. The animation of these films is the best animation we've ever had, ever on the big screen or on any screen. These are the greatest animated films of all time. Again, my opinion, you could easily disagree. Maybe yours is Monsters Inc. or Cars, I don't know. But the animation is so flawless. But this is definitely for a lot of personal reasons. Spider-Man story, the Spider-Man story, or any Spider-Man story, is the most important story in my entire life. Purely because of when I was fucking so much younger. I was 4 or 5, whatever, and I remember getting my first ever comic book and it being Spider-Man, and that changing my life forever, and me becoming who I am today because of this character is in this crazy red and blue, well, this is green, but red and blue suit, chucking webs out of his wrists and whatnot. I'd be like, what the fuck is fighting this goblin looking guy? There's a big rhino over there. There's a man made of sand. What's this alien? And all this stuff just coming out, and me falling in love with this spider. But it was the perfect spider story because it was the story of Miles getting bit, but ultimately not really ready to become a spider, but having to become the spider that this world needed and this story needed to save the day. The leap of faith moments. Oh my God. Oh, that scene hits so hard. He jumps off the building, the glass hits, and it just looks fucking phenomenal. The way the music's used in this, and the fun little now that you've seen the second one, the little Easter egg moments. You know, the blue and green flashes. Oh, he should have been the Prowler and stuff, and the nods to the other world. It's now missing a Spider-Man, and Miles going to become the Prowler. The spider keeps glitching because it's not from this universe. Even Chuck and the Bagel that we know now is the spot in the second film. This film just does everything right on every single level, from the comedic side of stuff that we need from a Spider story, to the gut-wrenching, heartwarming, emotional stuff that we need from a Spider story, to the ultimate telling of a Spider story, being bit, finding out who you are, what you need to do, what the important thing is, how do you balance everything. And we're still going through that with Miles now, balancing school life and family life with Spider life and stuff. Oh, it's perfection. It is absolute perfection, and maybe, for me, the greatest film of all time. Now the visuals, that was this week's Superhero Wednesday. My 10 favourite, well, my favourite Spider-Man films, ranked from 10 to number 1. They're all just fucking awesome, and they all have their own amazing little moments and the reasons why that's great and that's great. But please get the conversation going in the comments below, visuals, and let me know your favourite Spider-related stuff. I feel like I've just had like an emotional little drain and roller coaster there. Visuals, apart from that, you guys are literally the fucking best. Thank you so much for watching, and go check out all the Spider-Mans. When I was doing this, well, not doing this list, when I was writing my list down, I was like, it's time to do another Spider rerun. I think I'm going to go with The Amazing Spider-Man. I don't know why I feel like it's the ones that I've watched the longest. Not watched the longest. The ones I haven't watched in the longest amount of time. I think it is. So I'm gonna go for The Amazing Spider-Man. Maybe tonight or at some point over the weekend. But visuals. Thanks so much for watching. You guys are just more. Keep being you and keep on web slinging on.